Hi, guys, and welcome back to Transits and Tactics. We are transiting through the gate of listener or listening, gate 13, the hearer of secrets. And I don't know about you, Anita, but I love this energy. I really do. I feel like there's finally a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. And when I was researching this gate, it just explained to me everything that has been happening, this during this transit. We're already a couple of days into it. So the energy here is about sharing your experiences. It's also about hearing and learning through listening to experiences of others. And in a way, this word secret, that is one of the key words for this gate, it in my understanding and even what I'm experiencing now, it's like you're unlocking secrets by observing and actively listening, not just pretending or that, just trying to be a good listener, but actually being open to what is coming in, out from the stories, and then suddenly clicks happen. For those who follow this series, I mentioned that we just started the online doc course, which is a lot of trainings to consume. And I found last week I was very overwhelmed with the sheer amount of what to, consume, what to study, and then all the difficulties. And it's hard, dogs are a different species. We are training ourselves really within this. But this week, it's very different because this week revelations happened, and they happened exactly like the theme of this transit. It's by being open and observing and listening and consuming the stories. And within this specific course, we have to watch a lot of dog training in action. So you are literally, somebody's sharing their personal story and you're watching, and I can't believe how many clicks happened and how much progress I have and how much lighter I feel now, because now it's now changing because I have a new perspective. And what happens with the new perspective, and gate 13 sits in our G center, this is about the direction in life. So with the change of a perspective, the direction of life can also change. So I'm kind of thinking, hey, maybe the dream of me having my dog with me in all the coffee shops, restaurants, traveling will finally be true one day, because I can see that this might be happening and I could be in control. It's wonderful. So this is about finding these breakthroughs, but through listening, through opening up to these new secrets. Now, you also could be sharing personal secrets, and of course, you could be in that, you're the one sharing, you're the one affecting others. So sometimes, be careful, especially with the secrets, and especially if you have gate 33 in your throat and your throat is undefined. Some things can slip out and pop out completely unexpectedly, but not all secrets should be just easily shared, or not all feedback should be easily given, even if it's rooted in your personal experiences, because of this responsibility that we need to take, that it can affect someone. So yes, it can be inspiring. It could be like me with this dog, situation. I see the light, but it can also shatter somebody's dreams or perception of their success in the moment. And I was very careful this week. I had to give a couple of quite interesting kind of feedbacks to my clients, but potentially that could be very disheartening, what I'm saying, because we could be excited about the idea and somebody comes along and they mean well, but so we have to be very responsible how to know when to share something, because tough love is good too, but you need to check in with your inner authority. So I had to be very careful, and hopefully I did make the decision out of my splenic authority, knowing, no, you know what, I need to say this now. So check in with your strategy and authority before you give advice, share, because see how potentially life-changing this influence can be. Then we have Earth in gate 7, and this is the gate of the role of the self. So leadership, guidance for yourself, for others, very down to earth, very practical energy, very kind of organizing energy. So this is a good period. Actually, this transit is a very good period to streamline your processes, to organize your life, to get rid of what doesn't work, so that you can be more organized for more maximum efficiency, in your whatever endeavor you're embarking on. So it's very, this gate 7 is also very good to take the big goal, break it into small manageable pieces, bits and pieces. So it's a very good guidance energy. Great, I think, fantastic transit. Obviously, there is always duality when it comes to these themes. So I know so many times myself and Anita, we would meet up and it seems to be such a great energy. And, I would feel complete, the back end of it, complete awful. And I'm thinking, how is this such a good, description where I'm feeling really bad? So maybe you're feeling like not listening right now, or maybe you're feeling like nobody's responding to your story. So there could be an opposite. Maybe you are completely disorganized. Remember that each energy also has the kind of shadow, the other side of things. But it is also given to you for a point of contrast. I find I always believe that when things are not working out, or you're feeling something that is taking you, into the darker end, this is the point of contrast. So now you know how the ugly feels, right? So you can move towards the light, move towards the beautiful. So this is really, really good as well. And so I mentioned gate 33. This is the throat gate. So we have this energy 13 from the self, from the identity center, from the G center, going and manifesting through gate 33. And gate 33 is all about past experiences. So it's activating, if you have it, it's actually activating the channel of the prodigal son. And it's kind of, imagine, the son that was kind of away for a long time, came back, and now the father says, okay, tell our family all your stories. This is like, share the stories from what your experience from your past, guide them with the stories so that they don't make mistakes, so that they can be, they can avoid some pitfalls that you already discovered on your travels. This is the kind of theme of the energy. And what's very interesting about this, it's the energy that everything makes sense at the end of this cycle. So when you trust, and the deeper you trust that things will work out and make sense, even if they don't now, then it will be easier to allow things to unfold in the now. And this is what this channel is teaching us. So if you have that channel, in your chart, or maybe you just have gate 33 in your chart, this is something that will be very poignant, could be potentially very poignant this week. So trust the journey, trust the moment, whatever is unfolding, because it will all make sense. And just give it time. Basically, just give it time. I am really enjoying this energy. I can feel like there's definitely the theme of leadership of others, and leadership of self as
Mm.
well, bouncing off, opening up to the information that comes to you, to the secrets that unlock some breakthroughs. Really, really beautiful energy. But if you feel, apathetic, if you feel even like pessimistic, jealous of something, this could be something that hinders your progress this week. So be mindful of those negative energies and just try and open up to whatever's coming in. So that's my overview. Anita, how are you? You have some more information about what's going on a bigger level, but how are you feeling this transit?
I enjoy this energy, and what you need to understand is this is listening to your own voice. This is listening to the voice of your soul. These energies are connected to the G center, so that is our magnetic monopole in our. This is our magnet for when we're to attract people, to attract opportunities, and how we speak about ourselves or to others really determines what we're magnetizing, what we're asking in, and what you'll find this week is that it's Aquarius Leo. So it's how do I show up in my unique way and shine. So it's a big marketing energy this week, actually. Really cool. And you find people like I found that different singers have this when you follow your path, that's when you shine, despite everything you try to do to sabotage it. It's really interesting energy. And with the energies in the chart, you might feel disillusioned in what you've learned, that it isn't working anymore. Your challenge or your invitation, how about that? Your invitation is to speak your own truth, is to speak from your own heart. But these energies are connected to the throat, as Juliet said, but they create a level of vulnerability. You feel very vulnerable to speak your truth because it has been so shunned in the past to do your own thing and step out. There's a lot of talk about doing your own thing and stepping out, but really a lot of people are just stepping out doing other people's things rather than own unique path, right? So, so you might feel that you're not recognized this week, that you haven't been, that you're not heard, that you're not seen. And I would say the best way to step back from that is to, or to navigate this, is to tune into yourself. Tune into what you actually need to say, the timing, who you want to work with. Do you really want to keep working with people who persistently resist or negate your expertise or your amazingness? And and there's like this whole, what I'm noticing is, and this is in the transits as well, because Mars has just passed through conjunction with Pluto. Uranus has just gone direct. Neptune is, or not Neptune, Jupiter is going direct in the next few weeks. There's a place where we are really being challenged to stop hanging on to our gurus, our old systems, and step into our own way of doing things. And all the energies are there. Communicate in a way that you feel safe to
Mm.
express your truth. So, you know, it's fabulous energy. I love it when you know how to express it. And you see people like Garth Brooks, or there's a number of stars that you'll see with this energy that, and they'll say it. I'm expressing, I'm giving my soul a voice. And to understand that the vulnerability is normal, but you don't, it doesn't need to determine what you say, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm.
So, Juliet, you'll probably be able to say this. When I looked at these energies and tuned into them, and we've lived into them for a few days, I really feel that this is another huge transformation in marketing about to emerge. And what people will find is their old marketing strategies aren't working anymore, aren't working the way they thought they should. And this is where Juliet and myself come in. If you want to adapt your message to a more aligned version of you, now that's where you need to go. It's where what the universe is saying is, yes, these are fabulous methods, but you have to make it your own. And to make it your own, you need to know your design and how you're designed to deliver. And there's a place where there's kind of do it without apology kind of energy.
Yeah. You know, I'm actually going to just maybe just offer just a slight thing. So you just said that, you know, in order to do it, you need to know your design. No, guys, you don't need to know you don't have to. You don't have to if you don't want to. But you know what? It helps. It really helps. And you know what it does? It doesn't put you in a box. It doesn't make you something else yet again. You know what it does, it echoes what you already do. This is what I love about, we're not just telling you, oh, the old way is not working and it's going to be a new way. This is not what is happening here, right? Personally, I walk my talk. I live and my business is running in a way that sometimes blows my mind because it's just illogical. It's illogical when I look at it from like a traditional business point of view, right? And I always battle with senses of like guilt for not working enough, but not because I am not, I am lacking. It's because I'm too abundant, and then I feel guilty. I'm like, oh, where did this come from? I didn't do anything. But maybe that's the way it should be. Especially for a projector, but maybe that's the way it should be. And this is what we're learning. And then when you're looking into your design, and I'm looking at my design and I have like a completely open will center. And I'm like, oh yeah, so I'm here being open to receive. So I receive when I don't care about getting, when I share from the point of sharing, not from the point of getting clients and signing up things. And a lot of traditional marketing that first of all is we're here, we're niche kind of market here. If you're a coach, an expert, you're a very niche, very specialized type of, you're not a product. You're not a service, as some people think you're a service. No, you're not a service. A web designer is a service provider. You're not, right? We're facilitating very, very unique and sometimes very subtle transformations, like aha moments, or feeling slightly unstuck or feeling motivated. And because every time this little change in our perspective, like this is the theme of the transit, right? A change in perspective can be life changing. An aha moment on a client call for a coach or an expert or consultant, an aha moment of a client can be life changing for them. This is what we do. So, how we show up is very different. How we present ourselves to the world is very different. And especially how people invest in someone like us is very different to buying a bag in the shop, right? Or, getting a service. So we have to understand this. This is the only way we can show up, is to show up in our true authenticity and with vulnerability. Be strategic about it. Be yourself. And it's a little bit easier. It's actually easy to do when you give yourself permission to, and when you stop overthinking. And that's the hard part.
Well, I think I kind of agree with you and disagree with you there. I mean, for me as a projector, learning about my, you don't need to know your design in super detail, but you
Yeah.
do need to know how you're designed to operate. Being a projector, knowing how I best deliver my work, how I best communicate, hugely helped me. And to me, adapting to the old marketing methods have been in a box, and they haven't been. We can forget sometimes that we know our design. So the more we act to our strategy, it becomes really natural because
Yeah.
it's who we are. It's when I started, I was in a position where I'd go to the marketing gurus, I'd go to the classes, and they would say, "Oh, well, whatever, adapt this to your way of doing things." And I was there.
There is
I
no way yet. You haven't figured your way, so you don't know.
Exactly. So I'm hearing 5 1s, I'm hearing generators, I'm hearing projectors and reflectors saying nobody's listening to me. I'm not being acknowledged. I'm being passed over in work. And I'm kind of there. Absolutely, that would be normal when you don't know how to operate. If you try to operate the same as everybody else, but when you know how to communicate through your design, that's what makes it so much easier to be seen. And as you said, Julie, exactly that. It's so much easier to be yourself and to show up your way when you know what that is, or you have a good idea of it. And there's a point where genuinely there's a lot of people who are conflicted because they're trying to copy, trying to be themselves, not quite knowing what, and the confusion is setting up freeze and
Oh, yeah.
procrastination,
Yeah.
So I'm agreeing and disagreeing with you at the same time. And I guess this is the vulnerability. We're all going to see this differently. We're
Maybe,
all
maybe just to also, like, I just want clarity for everyone, right? So when I was saying you don't have to, that was very sarcastic of me. I am
oh
just saying because there's a lot of people who will sell you products that, or let's say programs on human design, and you will be trying, like they'll be like saying, "We will tell you what your gifts are." You already know. I disagree with that. You already know what your gifts are. But human design or gene keys, or wherever you're going to look at for that information, it's going to echo what you already know. This is what, so we go into our design. Yes, of course, it's very interesting thing about how you operate. I love that you brought that up. And I think maybe we can talk about it for a couple of minutes because, this is where we're sharing kind of secrets, right? But learning how to operate, literally having your operating manual, it's huge. We're living in the world that is not for generators. This is a myth. Some people say it's a generator's world. No, no, it's not. It's just conditioned to go get whether it's capitalism, whether it's other philosophies that conditioning us, religion conditioning us into being a certain way. That has nothing to do with the operation manuals that we have, how we interact with the world around us, our environment, and people in it, right? And the other people's auras. And so, yes, we're projectors. We're here to wait for invitations. Doesn't mean that we have to be inactive, right? But we have to wait for invitation because we're way too heavy and deep. And if we budge in with our advice and guidance, and we're not invited, it's not a pretty picture. So it's better to understand this. Then you start saying, okay, I actually don't need to be so assertive because nobody sees me anyway when I am. I don't know about you, Anita, but I noticed that when I am trying to claim I'm the best for the job, that's when I'm invisible. When I'm just sharing my opinion and then like stepping back, that's when people want more. And I've seen that, and that's my business works because I'm kind of putting my opinion out there reluctantly almost. I don't grab people. I don't try and, upsell. I mean, I have my funnels. Don't get me wrong. I'm still a marketer and I understand business, but I do it in a way that is actually very echoing my design. And that is empowering.
exactly, absolutely. And here's the key, right? We're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater,
No.
but what has happened, say I'm in America, the marketing is pushy.
Yeah.
and it doesn't suit a lot of people. So that's what I mean. A lot of marketing strategies don't work because they don't comply or they don't align with people's designs. And you're right, a lot of people say, oh yeah, these are your gifts, but people will go to psychic mediums and energy people to find out their gifts also. To me, doing a human design reading is well, to me, it's a disservice to do a human design reading if you're not teaching them how to operate their design. So for me, and also when you when I do readings for people or when I work with people with their design, I am calling out what they know already. But
Yeah.
they've made it wrong because it's different to other people that they've grown up with. They've made who they are wrong. So when we do the readings with them, it's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm recognized for the first time in my life. So it's just helping them develop the confidence to step out and understand there is a vulnerability, a natural vulnerability in your energy to be mindful of who and what truth you speak because it you don't want to step out and say it all and say, oh yeah, I am the best. You might know you're the best, but saying that, as you say, it comes across as pushy. So it's not all or nothing. It's not either or. It's both and, moving forward, where we are literally helping people to understand. Even with I'm work with angels, so there's people going, oh, I'd love to be able to see my angels. I'd love to be able to see, and I can look at their design and say, hey, you don't have vision that way. That's not your intuitive superpower. Your intuitive superpower is sensing. So this is what you want to work on. So it stops us doing what Einstein calls, what's that saying? If you're
When you do
uh,
the same thing over and over and expect different results, that's like the definition of insanity. It's something along those lines. I
no,
think
it's
you're,
one that if you judge how you climb a tree based on,
oh,
the genius one, if you're judging yourself by how you climb a tree, but you're a fish, you're always going to fail.
that's so that you know what? This is so true. And I love the point you're making. You might not be designed to be visual. You might not be designed to be acoustic. Maybe you're designed to be tactile. You
Mm.
touch something and you just know. It's amazing, amazing power, right? But you haven't developed it because you're trying to be like some idea you got from something or somewhere, someone. And this is exactly where human design and all these human design, I'm not, it's not a religion, right? It's not a
Oh, but
dogma, it's not, but I'm still obsessed with it. No matter
yeah,
how, it's and obsessed on a basic level. It's
yeah,
these basic things, but they always point you into the right direction. And when you didn't listen, when you overrode, the sense, with your mind, or you didn't wait for emotional clarity and you rushed into something, whatever your process it is, when you did it wrong, because in hindsight, and when the cycle is finished, you see like it didn't make sense. Okay, all right, I knew I shouldn't, or I knew I should and I didn't.
yeah,
So, and that's okay too, because life is not a black and white thing, and you are allowed to make mistakes. In fact, that's how you know. That's how you learn. That's how you have the points of contrast. So this
yeah,
is good. It's good to
yeah.
have these things.
I
But
agree.
yeah.
And also, with human design, for me, I'm a 5/1. So I'll have researched a load of different profiling tools. I'll have researched the DISC and the Myers-Briggs and all those different things. I use human design as a profiling tool because it really helps me guide people their way. I'm not messing with their mind to answer questions to come up with the profile because the mind, as we know, is not necessarily the best place to be bringing your thoughts from, or the intuitive ability is so much more. When I started seeing ads, learn how to answer your profiling tools. So you give the profile to the business, that when you're applying for the job, that you show up with the assets that they're looking for. I was there, oh, you're just trying to you're just trying to put yourself into another box
Yeah.
for someone else, right? So with human design, it was very much, and I'm into this now for 10 years. It's just a very simple way of guiding people to their way of doing things and try it. as you said, most of the time they know already, oh my God, that's what I've been doing, but it still isn't working. And I'm there. Usually there's a place you need to tweak it. But as a profiling tool, and if it's used in that way, I find that it really guides people to, where do I sabotage myself? Oh my God, we don't all fear the same things. We're not all triggered by the same things. But when you know how you sabotage yourself or trigger yourself, or take yourself off your game. Um, I guess my biggest thing is you interrupt your prosperous flow when you're not doing things your way.
That's it.
So the fear is we can fit in and be ourselves. It takes courage.
Oh, totally. Oh, I love that word. I love that word because I had this idea to create, I was really researching discipline by design because a lot of people come to me and say, okay, I know the strategy and I get it and I'm ready to do it. Well, how can I find the discipline? And a funny thing is that when you look into, especially in profile lines, when you look into deeper into the lines, most of the time, this is exactly some sort of shade of courage that is required, right? A courage to say, I know enough for the first line, right? We both have a first line, although it's my personality, your design line. We know how there's the courage, the courage to own your special thing, like a fifth line, the courage to tell people this shit doesn't work. The third line, my second line, right? My design line. When you know about this courage, then there's no, the courage actually gives you the discipline to be dedicated to something because you get cocky about things. But unless you have the courage, you're going to be holding back because lack of discipline is holding back most of the time. When we want something, when we're super clear on something, we just go and get it done. Like there's
Mm.
no tiptoeing around it anymore. So it's such a beautiful word. So guys, listen, we're going to leave you. We had a little longer video today, but I think that this is really great discussion that we had. And hopefully you maybe took something out of it, something positive, I hope. And and yes, that's what I want to wish you. Courage. Just take courage, open up, see what comes into your world, right? Express yourself, your truth. Take courage to be true to yourself, no matter what everybody says. The world adjusts when you claim that, you take that courage and claim your, truth, like the singers, right? Like, this is very good. There's so many stories out there when somebody decides to just stick to their own unique style, and that's the way it is. And I've echoed as well when you said, you do it your way. There is your way. There is absolutely your way. And then everything, the design just proves this. And your mind starts arguing and sabotaging you, right? But you have this baseline, okay, I have a confirmation that actually what I suspected was my thing is actually my thing. I can just be that and it's fine, and it's really, really beautiful. So guys, we will see you on the next episode of Transits and Tactics. Enjoy this energy and take some courage to express yourself. See you. Bye.